You've waited forever. It's on PC. It's not on the pads.
It's not just that. I was away the week it was released.
A mouse control.
Right.
We're both playing it. Destiny 2.
Actual
it
FPS.
arrived. Mixed, to say the least, once I exposed the Blizzard universe to it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game by any means. Are you ready? You've had plenty of time now to catch up.
Plenty of time. All I've done.
Let's jump in, then. Let's see what it's really like.
Alright, let's jump in, man.
I still want to do my Halo stance, like... It's a screenshot there.
Select character.
As a Destiny 1 veteran, sir,
Yes, mate.
I believe you even own the T-shirt of completion.
I do make the Age of Triumph t-shirt with my name on the arm.
Class.
What? Yeah?
Well, you're going to take the lead on this one,
such a
because for
class,
me
I
it
will.
was a relatively new game, because I
Yes.
tried Destiny 1 and threw away its fake keyboard and never thought about it again.
Wow.
So here we go, Destiny 2. Many hours have been played. What do we think?
It's obviously got its negatives. It's like glaring deer in the headlights negatives. But outside of those, I'm still to this day enjoying it, and I can't wait to go home and play more of it.
Yeah, a weird one before we even get into the details of the game is you were on holiday actually when it launched.
It was.
So I did the launch. I personally was having a blast.
Yep.
Our audience was not. They didn't.
Really?
Yeah, it was very strange. It's like the onlookers, there was a lot of negativity flying around about the game, is what I can tell you.
Yeah.
So what is the story of Destiny 2, pal? If you could lead us in.
I will do, pal. So as it happens, the story is set 1 year after the Siva crisis, which is the
Words.
end. Words, yeah. And the Red Legion, which is a Cabal faction, yeah, they
It is
take
very
out...
edgy. The story.
Shut up.
No. Let me just be clear before
Go
you carry
on.
on. Is the story is designed for teens? That's very clear.
dare you.
It is.
I'm 33.
All right. Well,
goddammit.
you explain the story then.
I will
and
do,
we'll let
right?
the
Listen
audience
to me.
decide.
Okay. So everything's going on in the tower, then there's some sort of like a ruse going on. There's no communications coming in from around the galaxy, and that's because the Red Legion have taken them all out, hoping to surprise the Vanguard and take over the Traveller. Now, the Traveller controls all the Guardians' light. And Dominus Gaul, mate, the leader of the Cabal, shut up, wants the light for himself. Okay? No, I'm not having this. I'm not having, I love
Come
it.
on, it's a teen story. It's a teen action
It's
movie
well
story.
done. It floats my boat.
Look at
So
the
anyway.
words: Travelers, Red Legion. Ooh, a ruse.
Hate you so much.
A ruse. Go on.
Ruse.
Sorry.
I threw the word ruse in.
All right.
It's an old man word.
Well, I'm assuming you didn't throw in the words Dominus Gaul.
You are such a pleb.
Oh, it's funny.
Shut up. Anyway, so inevitably the opening quest of the campaign is we have to stop Gaul from overtaking the Traveller, because if he takes the Traveller, we lose our light. We lose our infinite respawn, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, as somebody who didn't play any of the story of Destiny 1, I got it straight away.
Yeah.
I got it straight away. The Traveller, which is actually a physical object, it provides us with our powers.
It does.
Because then it goes, you lost your power. And you're like, oh.
It does. So it's not just our infinite respawn, but obviously our powers as well to arc, void, and fire.
Yeah.
They're all gone as well. So inevitably, Gaul gets the upper hand. He takes control of the Traveller, cutting off all our powers, and knocks us off a very high drop, to which we only get knocked unconscious.
We are sturdy.
We are pretty sturdy. That armour, though,
We are sturdy.
I'm going to invest in Kevlar.
I felt I was sturdy.
When we get knocked out, we get a vision of basically a bird, going through like a spirit bird, like a light bird, like a sweet bird, going through all these places that leads to a farm. You wake up and the city's in ruins. The Red Legion's taken over. You find your way out of the city injured and find the bird from your vision, who takes you to Hawthorne, who's waiting with you with the other rebels to basically stop Gaul. And that's the start of the story.
Yeah, big
It's time
bad
to fight
comes
back
once
Gaul.
powerful object, smash
You've got no Guardian powers, no infinite respawns, so it's time to put an end to that. And that's where the story starts.
Yeah,
mate.
that is the story. Now, the story is surprisingly short.
Very short.
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away, honestly, by how short it is.
Yeah,
but it does take you pretty much to cap.
It does take you to cap, between 18 and 20, depending on how much of the world content you grind doing it, which at some point you do have to do that anyway.
Yep.
Which I think is nice, because it's an introduction to the actual content.
Yeah, levels aren't a big thing, which again is something that's quite surprising. It is about your light level, which isn't actually your physical level like you would get in an RPG, like level 1, 2, blah, blah, blah. So the cap's actually only 20, and the story campaign, 5-6 hours? hour-ish. A bit longer,
6
depending on how much
tops.
side stuff you do.
Yeah.
Is going to take you to the cap, and then your light level, which is the important level. That's how powerful your character is, essentially. That's where that starts from there. What did you think of the story overall?
Loved it.
I thought I was alright with it.
Loved
As jokes aside, I'm okay with an edgy teen story. I'm fine with it. I can watch Transformers 1. Bernie Mac's there. I'm fine.
Hey, mommy.
Exactly. I'm fine with a teen story as long as I'm knowing getting into it. And I thought the story was actually pretty chill.
A lot of people don't... Oh, actually, I was going to go into a spoiler then. I just immediately stopped myself, so I'm not going to do that.
Well,
so,
it's short, so you can play through that relatively quickly.
Yeah, it is short. You can play through that quickly. I'll tell you what is... It's not so much a spoiler, it's the fact that the story quest is based on stopping Gaul, and people were pretty pissy that he wasn't a raid boss, is all I'm going to say.
Oh... Yeah, I mean, people are used to that.
I think people are used to see, like, because Destiny's very different in terms of its marketing and its gameplay. Because people are used to. I mean, if we use, our direct comparison is Warcraft, like TBC. It's got Illidan on the box. It's Illidan. Then it's the Lich King and so on and so forth. But this isn't like that with Destiny. And I like that as well, because once you kill that, you know that raids are coming. So what is going to be next?
Yeah.
I do like that. So anyway, that is a nice segue into the gameplay. How did you find it on the PC?
I thought I was playing Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I absolutely... It was basically... I played the Vanguard through Mass Effect 2 and 3. And I chose the Sentinel Titan, essentially.
It's so good. I want to dwell on
so
that for
fun.
like
It was
1 minute.
exactly like I was playing Mass Effect. It was no different at all,
What they've
honestly.
done to the Sentinel Titan from Destiny 1 to 2 is beautiful. And let me tell you why. The Sentinel spec in Destiny 1, his ultimate, or his supercharge, was just the bubble. Like, you use that, you pop the bubble, you can change it if it's going to drop orbs. No, it drops orbs inside. If it's going to give you better armor or better damage, that's fine. But in this, it's like, well, it's a pretty pissy on-use super. So they've put that in as part of one of the trees.
Yep.
You can use your bubble, or you can go ham as Captain America.
Absolutely. Well, as soon as I clocked, because, again, I didn't really play much in Destiny 1, once I got the controls, I was like, oh my god, this is Mass Effect, and that, 50 or 70 hours of gameplay just flooded back into my hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got this. But I've got to say, the gunplay was really good. Surprisingly good. It's not Wolfenstein or Doom, but it's way up there. It's not bad gunplay
So much variety as well. So much variety in the weapons as well. Which
totally surprised how
caters
slick
to
and
your
fast it
favour.
was. The enemies were decently fast. Headshots counted properly, which was really digging. I was getting into the battles, and you could die really quickly. Certainly, if you come up against some of the tougher stuff,
like a gladiator, just mincing.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
face.
I'm sure we'll get to there, but the gunplay I thought was fantastic. The mix of the special powers, which was straight from Mass Effect for me, was great. I fell into it instantaneously. Knew what I was doing. And I thought I chose the right class for me, honestly. Now, I did not try the other two. Is it Warlock and Hunter?
Warlock and Hunter,
and then you should explain that then. So there's 3 classes, but they then break down into subclasses.
They do, yes. You get your 3 classes, the same as Destiny 1. They do break down into 3 subclasses. You do start with just the 1. And I think, this is the roundabout ballpark. At level 10 and level 16, you pick up an item to start a very small quest to get your 2nd and 3rd subclass.
And they are fun quests.
They are. Well, the quests are... It's not so much it's fun. I gobble the lore in Destiny.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're picking up these... when you're going through your sub-quest... Well, your sub-power quest, you see visions of other vanguards or other guardians who've used these powers, or stories about them.
Yes.
Like, some of them include Osiris, which is a very, very big character. And it's just nice, and then when you get to the end of it, it just gives you an infinite charge of that power, so you can annihilate people.
Yeah, because I had a Captain America shield and a charge and all that, and it just is like, you can just fill this, because it is an ultimate. In real gameplay, you build it up by attacking things and stuff like that, but in the actual learning how to use it tutorial, gain the power, it has these spots you can stand in that just gives you, refills you instantly, so you can just keep trouncing armies of enemies over and over, and it's super fun to do. It's a really nice... you could say a lot of tutorials like that usually are very short. They're like, okay, you use the power, you get the idea. Mine went on for like 10 minutes. They were like, no, it gets better. Keep going. keep going. So it's not only have you definitely learned how to use it, but you've probably learned some tricks with it as well, which I thought giving you that extra time was better than, you can now do this off you go and find places to use it. It just gave you basically every scenario you could practice with it, which I thought was really awesome idea.
Gameplay-wise, the options and the modes are still majority-wise still there. So you've got your world quests, like your public events, your patrols. They've added in little things called adventures, which will either give you a piece of gear or a skill point upgrade, so you don't have to level every time to put a point in, which is very, very cool. I like that as well. There are small blue quests which will give you an exotic at the end of it, which I recommend that everyone do, because 9 times out of 10 those exotics are still really good. What else? There's loads of new stuff.
I did enjoy the world quests, the world events, so to speak, because they're up all the time. I was surprised to find out that they are relatively repetitive. There aren't that many variants of them. Because obviously the first few you do are all different. Yeah. Essentially, unless you go back to the exact same place and do the same one again. What I really liked about it, though, is that they have an optional harder objective while you're doing them.
Which you triggered while the event was
it spoke to me like, this is my jam. So
older war.
Exactly, it was very much like that. So while we were doing the first one, which we were fighting a very large tank and shooting its legs off and all that kind of stuff, people were saying you could do the heroic version, essentially is what we call it, where if you not only destroy the tank, but you do another objective while you're destroying the tank, which gives you a limited time to get it done. But if you do that, you get a load of bonus rewards, but you have to work together as a team.
Yes, you do.
So you basically got somebody who's going to carry something, which means they can't use their weapons, while the other team covers them. Now, if you don't know that's going to happen, then everybody's just kind of running around just shooting, killing the mobs and killing the mobs. But every time after that I got to a world event, I was like, what is the heroic version of this? Yeah. What is the objective and can I do it? And sometimes I was soloing it. I was doing my absolute best to solo it. So some of it was like capture points, do things like that, or keep enemies away for a certain distance. And I was all over that, which tickled me because the objective still works in the very simple way.
So the raid's really cool, by the way. Again, everyone is a key part of the fight in a raid. You go down, you are massively hindering your team. 6-man raids again, so I look forward to doing that again tonight. And that's the crux of it. Very, very short. Here's what I want to say. Here's the way of saying it is. It's not a game that you have to be glued to.
Oh no, I definitely didn't get that impression. Yeah, I definitely felt like you could, almost like an FPS shooter game, an online one, is you can drop in, drop out. Farming over and over again, I don't see the reason to do that. No. I could definitely see a lifetime of, and that's why it's not got a subscription, I assume, as well, is you play through it, you get what you want out of it, and then you can turn it off, and then the next piece of content comes and you can log back in. Now, whether that turns into a very expensive game, just waiting for the expansions and stuff like that to really bolster it up, that's down to you.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind as well is that in Destiny, PvP is a massive aspect of it,
which it isn't for me. So that's a part of the game that I wasn't digging. So yeah, for me that wouldn't be where I was going with it.
But it feels like a lot of things in this game though have had a reduction in size.
Well, I guess that takes us to the pros and cons.
It does take us to the pros and cons. So the pros, we're not going to dwell on these, but the pros is I love the story. Yep. It was so nice to get a direct continuation from the first Destiny into an actual, life-ending story, or potentially life-ending story, as opposed to just a side shoot of a story. There's twists, there's turns, there's returning characters. There is actually a couple of Easter eggs in there. There's a couple of cliffhangers at the end cutscene, which people are putting open to interpretation of what it could be, but I know exactly what it is. Well, a lot of us know exactly what it is. I'm not going to say that you're daft. The story was good. The graphics, beautiful on the PC.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, an FPS, no, there was a problem with the FPS, but it has been fixed now.
It has. That was clan related. Yeah, on release on the PC, if you were in a clan, because it was disabled from Bungie's side, the clans were disabled. Bungie's side, it created slowdown, like memory leaks, and you had to keep restarting.
It's not an issue I ran into, but I saw it on yours when you were doing playtesting, and you were down to like 10 FPS at some points, which but it's going well. It's easily over 100.
Yeah, that's
easily over 100.
That has been that's been eradicated. Now that's all
good.
And let's not. People are saying, it's not a console port. It's a big fight. It's not. It is. It's not. It is.
It is.
It absolutely
without question.
Is.
What's the argument? I mean, this is an off-camera discussion, but I can't imagine the argument for this not being a console port.
There's a lot of people who disagree with that, but you can't take out of consideration a lot of the things. I mean, this is going to take us into the cons now. Let me state the last pro on this is things from Destiny 1 that were really irky, like the public events.
Yeah.
They don't show up on a map in Destiny 1.
Oh, really?
You had to, but there was an app that told you where they spawn, and you had to manually navigate to it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay, you know, if you're like big into your RP kind of thing, using like a tracker. But
Yeah. Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But-
you know, I'd love the Wii U because it used to have stuff like that on the actual screen on the pad.
That was that and the inventory system as well. That's had a nice little upgrade. But let's switch to the cons. I mean, this isn't my naivety. This is standard, and I know that this game is not Blizzard's game. But when I see things on the Blizzard launcher, I expect some sort of Blizzard overhaul, if you like. And this goes so much to the social aspect of the game.
I think this was the death nail for this on PC.
Yes.
I think I think I texted you after one day and said they've really fucked up here.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is there's no integrated chat for the PC version.
You can send direct whispers.
Yep.
You can speak to your fire team, but you can't speak to your clan openly. The chat window disappears a couple of seconds after getting a message, so you're constantly pressing enter to bring it back up. There's just no, there's no synergy. There's no involvement in the game.
It makes sense in the console world where you're not doing that stuff, but when you're bringing this kind of game to PC and you're having things like clans and stuff, you need a chat window, and you need to make it easier to group and stuff with your friends, because it's not. I know how to do it now, but when I was initially I wanted to invite one of our mods to a team.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know where to do this. And I had to go through several menus just to sort that out. And then it was like, okay, where's the invite option? And you look at every game like this that's been out for the last 20 years, and it's right-click invite.
Yeah.
And that's as difficult as it should ever be. And if you want to leave a team, I found that really nice. Because the subclass quest we talked about earlier is solo.
Yes.
So I was like, I've got to leave team to go and do this quest, right? No big deal in any game like this that we've played a million times and put thousands of hours into.
How are you leaving?
How the hell do I leave my team? Yeah. And I think ultimately he just kicked me because he knew how to do it.
In fairness to you, I've been playing this non-stop since I've been back off vacation, and I ran into that last night, resolved exactly the same way. The fire team, I got the fire team leader to kick me because I just couldn't be arsed looking anymore to leave it. I mean, even if I go into my fire team, which is obviously just 3 blocks, if I right-click my name, it ain't coming up with.
No, it doesn't come up there. It doesn't come up there.
Why not?
I don't know. I was doing everything that made logical sense to me as to where. Okay, so it's not like right-click leave team. That's strange. What else could I do? And then you're going through this list, and ultimately it's like drop-down menus and stuff like that. And then you finally find it. You're like, why have you done that?
Yeah.
Why have you made it so
lazy.
complicated?
It's just direct console porting without. These aren't.
That's exactly what it is. There's nothing else to it. It's console porting.
These aren't luxuries of being a PC player. These are standard now.
This is really
this is ground level.
This is very ground level. This is base foundation stuff. So I think that is probably a death nail for the PC version. For most players, retention.
I say what
retention is the thing important.
Yeah,
People are going to be fine with it.
Yeah. I mean, if I compare it to Warcraft, there's a lot of the time where I won't chat in guild chat now because I use voice comms. I've just got used to that now. But there are still people who don't want to use voice comms.
And sometimes people just throwing stuff out there, like, don't want to burst into a Discord conversation saying, does anybody fancy doing a dungeon?
Exactly.
Just throw it into guild chat.
You want to link items in chat as well.
Exactly. There's so many standard reasons it should exist, and it doesn't, and it's sad.
But other than that, I mean, like, the numbers in the Crucible have been reduced. I don't know why that has been. The weekly content, once you get to the end game, where I am now is a perfect example. Hello phone. I've recently capped my last character, which was a Warlock. I've done all my world quests. I've got my gear to as high as I can do this week, because obviously in a weekly reset, you can obviously do those weekly achievements or milestones to get your gear higher again. And because I enjoy the Crucible, I'm okay. But I'm at a point now where I have to hope for a drop from a world event or a strike or maybe an exotic to boost me up, and I'm not willing to do that.
And it's only been a week.
And it's only been a week, yes.
Yes, and that's the point now. It's only been a week. Because you might say, well, isn't that the same as raiding? You do your mythic raid in WoW, or your heroic or whatever, and then isn't that the same?
No.
Well, maybe months down the line, not after a week.
And there's still a lot. I mean, let's talk about, to do that, though, you've got to compare the grind, though, as well. 6 hours against X amount of days if you're playing it.
Yeah, it's a very short game, which has pros and cons. Like you say, you can drop in and drop out and not be worried about it.
Yeah,
you can do that. But I think with the price tag associated with it, people want a little bit more bang for the buck there.
Yeah, and my last 2 things in it are, and this is something that I was having a discussion about as well with the other guys in my guild, is collections have been removed. I know this is year 1. Please, I want to get that right now. I know this is year 1. But collections in year 3...
What are collections?
Collections are basically, it's a book of achievement. for
Right.
that expansion. Okay, I don't know when it came into Destiny 1 though. I will say that, but and this is my counter argument for a lot of these points is it's there now.
Yep.
You can't just remove
It's
it
a feature
because
of
this
the
is
game.
vanilla of Destiny 2. Now, a book is a book of achievements. Once you can level up in the book, basically, which will give you mostly cosmetic items.
Cool.
Which is cool.
Like a little progress chart of your own.
Yes. Now, those things are applicable in this game because a lot of them are, let's say, Titan grenade kills, Hunter melee kills, blah, blah, blah. Once you get to that milestone, you tick it off a checklist, you fill up an XP bar, you get an item. That should be in-game already. And my concern is that that's not in-game yet, because they're going to bring it in later down the line
Starting from zero.
to start you from zero. That would upset me. I can't stress that I absolutely love this game. It has its irks. I love the universe. I love the gunplay, the PvP and the PvE, the raids. It's smaller numbers for everything, which does dishearten some people, but for me, it just makes it so that, for example, 4 raids were done for like the main raid in our guild this week by various people. A couple of people couldn't do it, but we had at least 4 clears in the first night. You know, smaller raids are good, and you can give advice to these other raids. There's different ways of doing it, and I love this shit. I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
You want to see where it goes. Just was hoping for maybe a bit more to get us started. Well, more
for,
certainly
yeah.
stuff that was featured in the previous game.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm thinking, I've got this. You know, when you're in that, you go, I got this. But man, I so did not have it.
A weird one. It feels like it needs more.
Oh, it needs a
For
lot
me,
more.
it just feels like it's not. It was too much of a console port for a lot of our guys.
It's you know
Very
what,
much so.
I've been speaking to people and been trying to play devil's advocate as well. Is like you've got to compare it to Destiny 1 Year 3, where it was the complete package basically.
Yeah.
But then people saying, well, you know, that was 3 years to do. It's like, yeah, but this is a
Yeah, this is the
continuation
next
of that.
step.
You can't remove
Yeah.
things in waiting for them to put it back into Year 3. Like a couple of little simple things that are just. Why would you remove that? Why would you change this? But that aside, I've non-stop been playing this game.
I had fun with it. Definitely had fun with it. I think the lack of an in-game chat system for when it was on PC was just
That's
a
really
colossal
big.
disaster.
I think every one of us, especially like the guys that play the Blizzard games, are expecting the Blizzard makeover.
Well, you give us
in
a
terms of
Blizzard.
social.
It's not a Blizzard game, we know that. But when you give us an MMO kind of game on a PC and you give us clans, we expect to be able to talk to our buddies and to have that work out. I mean, that's been standard since I don't know the 90s.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And that was, I mean, even for me, knowing what was going into this, because we did play a bit of Destiny. I played very little of Destiny 1. You played a lot of it. I knew what we were getting into going in.
Yeah.
Was just like, you should have done that for the PC version. You really should have done that, because we had a clan of 100 within about 10 minutes of the hype train coming out, and people were just coming to our live chat going, well, how do we sort things out here? Why is it like this? And we were like, I don't know, really. That's just the way it was on console, because they can't chat like we can. But this
we
is
shouldn't
not
be
on,
punished
this is
for that.
not on console. This
Yeah.
is not a console version. So I think some missteps were made on the PC version for sure.
Absolutely.
Still has that quality about it though. So gorgeous.
Really nice.
So
Really nice.
gorgeous. Gameplay was so fast and slick. I wasn't expecting that. I've played a lot of FPS online, and unless it's like a really small map shooter, CS:GO style, it's usually not as slick or as smooth as that is.
And the raids are amazing as well. Like I've done the Leviathan a few times as well. It's beautiful. It's just like Destiny 1. Everyone's a valued member of the team. No room for errors, mate. And really nice mechanics as well.
Yeah, I think the only message we can go away with is both of us felt it was alright.
Yeah, it's like
And it
Destiny
needs a bit
1.5.
more. It needs.
you know?
It just needs. It needs fleshing out, which it should have launched with things that the other game already had.
Yeah.
Which is really strange. It's a very strange one. So keep your peepers open for that.
Osiris in December, mate. Looking
Osiris
forward
in
to that.
December. Maybe look something in the future. It's definitely a game you want to play with friends, so you're not dealing with blueberries, which are the noobs of the game. They're called blueberries if you want to be in the lingo. And then, there you go. So if you want to see our previous Mace Watts, which was on, I believe, Super Mario Odyssey.
That was a good little game.
It's a well good game. It's a well good game. You can check that down below, or you can check out some gameplay from me of Destiny on the launch night. That's also down. Stop looking at the carpet. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Bye. There's nothing down there, man.
Why do you say it then?
Quick! Console FPS pose.